This
Um,
conference will now be recorded.
Let me share my screen. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible, right? Is that my screen visible? Yeah. Now let me go to the pipeline what that we have built in the last class. Okay, last class what we did is we have checked out the code. Okay, let me show you the diagram so that it will be helpful for you. So this will be a GitHub repository where our Spring Boot application resides actually. Let me put like this is the Spring Boot application repository, GitHub repository. From there Jenkins pipeline has fetched the Spring Boot application actually. So you people did not attend the last class. This last class everything I have told you. Okay, this Jenkins pipeline will be fetching, checking out the code from the GitHub repository, and this Jenkins pipeline will be performing in this is the entire Jenkins pipeline. Okay, this will perform Maven build. That means it will create a the jar file which we did manually, right? In the case of Docker, in the case of creating custom images, we did manually and we created a image out of that, right? So this stage Maven stage will perform Maven build. Okay, it will create a jar file Maven package. Okay, so after this Maven build, what will happen is in case of test cases, that Spring Boot application will be executing, will be having some unit test cases that will be executed as part of this stage, unit test cases stage actually. Now these two stages I have not shown in the previous class, that is SonarQube and the JFrog. SonarQube is for static code analysis. Today I'm going to show you that, and the JFrog is to for storing the artifact like jar files actually. Now then this stage I also shown like creating a Docker image out of my Spring Boot application. Okay, this stage I have shown this Docker image which is created by this from the Spring Boot application will be scanned by Trivi. We have also integrated the, right, Trivi. Previously when we are discussing about the Docker, we have discussed about the Trivi tool to scan our Docker images to check the vulnerabilities that are present in the Docker images. So something like that, right? Trivi. Okay, once this scan is completed, then the Docker image which is created will be pushed up to Docker Hub, Docker Hub actually. Okay, uh, where our image stores actually. Now after pushing that to the Docker Hub, then the cleanup activities will happen. That means removing the Docker image which is built in the Jenkins machine, because if the if we keep on if we keep on adding Docker images, the space will be taking more actually. Then we'll remove the existing Docker images actually. So that is a cleanup activity. Then after this cleanup activity, the down step it did not tell you in the last class. The down step what it is it actually the down step means in it is another pipeline. Here it is another pipeline. Okay, this is first pipeline and this is a second pipeline that you have in the Jenkins console. Okay, first pipeline is this first line. Okay, the second pipeline, okay, the first after the successful completion of the first pipeline, the second pipeline will be automatically triggered because I have configured the first pipeline. If it is successfully completed, then it should trigger the second pipeline, something like that. What this second pipeline does, in this second pipeline we have some YAML files, Kubernetes YAML files in the GitHub repository. In the GitHub repository we have some Kubernetes YAML files in this repository. Now that will fetch that, this second pipeline will fetch that YAML files and update the newly created Docker image in that YAML files, again push back that updated YAML files again back to the GitHub repository. Once a commit has been happened into the GitHub repository, Argo CD will detect that commit, right? We have seen, okay, Argo CD will be performing whatever the changes that is happen in this GitHub repository. All the changes will be taken care by Argo CD and deployed to the Kubernetes cluster, and finally we have achieved our goal, something like that. Okay, so something like this, everything is automated once the developer has pushed his code to GitHub repository. Even one step you are not doing here manually. All these days we have seen manual steps, how to deploy applications, how to create a custom Docker images, and how to push the Docker images to Docker Hub repository, and something like that we have seen how to scan the Docker images. All the things we have seen the manual activities, but in this pipeline everything is automated from pushing. Just developer pushes his code, new version of the code to the GitHub repository. That's it. Everything is automated until the deployment of the applications to the Kubernetes cluster without any problem actually. So something like that. First, let me trigger a pipeline, and then I'll be showing you the SonarQube and JFrog repositories and something like that. But yeah, all the things which have is there here: GitHub, Jenkins, Maven, Docker image, Trivy, Docker Hub, cleanup activities, everything. Cleanup activities, everything I have shown in the Friday's class. If you missed the class, please go through the recording, that will be available. Okay, right. So here I am going to first trigger a pipeline, and then we are going to see that will be automatically deploying to Kubernetes cluster. Okay, now let me go here. Okay, where you let me click on escape, and uh, let me go to my Jenkins pipeline. You can see that this is my Jenkins pipeline. Okay, this is my Jenkins pipeline. You can see that all the things declarative checkout, these two stages will be declarative checkout. That means getting the code from the GitHub repository. Now second, this stage is building application. That is the Maven stage, Maven building application. I have shown you in the diagram, right? This is the stage, Maven stage. Okay, building application. Now the third stage that we have is executing test cases. Okay, what are the test cases that we have in the Spring Boot application? That test cases will be executed. And the fourth stage, that is static code analysis, that is SonarQube. Okay, I'll tell you SonarQube, but pushing next stage is pushing artifacts to JFrog. That is, JFrog is a artifactory where you can push your artifacts to your artifacts means the jar file in case of Spring Boot application, right? So this jar file will be pushed to JFrog actually. Now Docker image, once the push has been happened to the JFrog, Docker building Docker images. Let me increase the font so that it will be easy for you. Okay, building the Docker image. Okay, building the Docker image. How it will build the Docker image? We have written Docker file in our Spring Boot application. This is our Spring Boot application. We have written this Docker file here. It will take this Docker file and it will build the Docker image out of that Docker file. And once the Docker image is built, Docker image scan will happen with the Trivy. Trivy will scan this Docker image, and this Docker image scan, after this Docker image scan, we are tagging the Docker image, because Docker image we built. In order to push the Docker image to GitHub Docker Hub repository, you need to first tag the Docker image with our account name, right? We have seen in the manually. Okay, right, that's the thing. Okay, tagging Docker image. Once the tag is happened, you need to first log in. You need to push to the Docker repository, Docker Hub, right? So first you need to log in, and then only the push will be performed. Okay, then only the push will be performed. You can see that this push is performing here. Now this is a cleanup activity. What is the cleanup activity? The once the push is performed, why the Docker image is needed in the Jenkins machine? It is not required, right? So that Docker image which is created as part of this, okay, as building Docker image stage, that will be removed as part of the cleanup stage, right? How it will be removed? We have some command, right? Docker system prone hyphen a, Docker image prone hyphen a. That is a command I have used there in that stage actually, cleanup stage. Okay, now once this cleanup stage has been completed, it will ask for our acceptance. What it will ask? Whether you want to proceed further for the deployment in the Kubernetes cluster or not, whether you want to perform deployment in the Kubernetes cluster or not. It will ask for whether to proceed or not. If you click on proceed, then the deployment to Kubernetes cluster will be performed. If you click on about here, then the Kubernetes deployment will not be performed here. Now once this you click on accept, like proceed here, in case of accept, I'll trigger. Okay, no problem. I'm explaining theory now. I'll be triggering, okay, soon. Okay, triggering deployment job. We have another job that is there here. Kubernetes deployment is another job that we have, which will update the image tag. Okay, image tag in this GitHub repository. This is the Kubernetes-argo cd GitHub repository. Data store hyphen deploy is the application name that we have. In this data store hyphen deploy.yaml is the YAML file that we have. In this, if any application changes, the tag is going to be changed, right? That will be updated by this Jenkins pipeline. Okay, updating image version in a file. And after updating that image version, first it will clone this entire repo. Okay, this entire repo, Kubernetes-argo cd will be entirely cloned to the Jenkins machine, and it will perform updating that image tag in this stage, second stage in this pipeline. And after updating that, it will just push that code to the again back to the GitHub repository in to this itself. Once this once this code is pushed to updated code with the tag is pushed to this GitHub repository. For this GitHub repository, Argo CD will be connected. Okay, right how to connect a Argo CD to the GitHub repository. Here, I'll tell you. Okay, I already told you in the case of discussing Argo CD project. So for this repository, Argo CD will be connected. Once any changes that is happened to this repository, now here changes will be happening. Who is doing the changes? This pipeline is doing the changes in this repository, right? So once the changes are happened, these changes will be automatically triggered to the Argo CD, and Argo CD will be performing deployment to the Kubernetes cluster automatically without we doing any manual steps. Okay, right? So let me trigger a pipeline. Any questions that you have before triggering a pipeline? Anyone? Is that okay? Is that clear? Or
Yes, clear.
yeah, let me go here. Yeah, okay, let me go here. Let me build with parameters. You can see that I have told you how to write parameter block and how to do that, right? Now click on build with parameters and application version. What is the version of this application? Now let me give some version. V 3.0. V 3.0 is the application version I am giving. Go to my Docker Hub repository. Now this is the data store repository. Click on this data store repository. Now this data store, one second, it is loading. Yeah, what is this? Hello, can you people able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure. Now I would hear you. You broke for a minute or two.
Where we are actually, where when the voice is broken?
That page reloading.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, here, right? So let me go here. This is the one, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, here you see the tags. Huh? If you see the tags, there is no version of v3.0. Okay, you can see that as of now there is no version of v3.0. The latest version is v2.1 only. Let me go here to the Jenkins pipeline v3.0. I am giving the app version here. Okay, provide application version. Okay, v3.0 is the application version for building the pipeline, and click on this build. Okay. Oh, yeah, let me go here to the data store and build with parameters v3.0. v3.0 I am giving. Click on build. Okay, now this triggered. Okay, this has been triggered, the pipeline has been triggered. Okay, you can see that the checkout has been happened. That means the code has been pulled from the GitHub repository. Okay, the code has been pulled from the GitHub repository. Okay, let me go here. Okay, you can see that building application, now executing test cases. Okay, executing test cases, you can see all these things you can see as part of the console output, because logs will be shown as part of the console output. Click on this build number and click on console output. You can see that executing test cases. Now, once the execution of test cases got completed, you can say this is a command that is being executed. That means it is integrated with the SonarQube. You can see the static code analysis and the pushing artifacts to the JFrog. Okay, pushing artifacts to the JFrog has been completed, and the building Docker image to the building Docker image. You can see that building Docker image. You can see that building Docker image. It is creating a Docker image. You know, also check the logs in this case. Okay, but yeah, that's the thing. And I suggest to check the console output, but not here. Okay, now that's a building Docker image. Okay, now once the Docker image has been built, okay, it will scan the Docker image using Trivi. Trivi is there for scanning the Docker image. Okay, so once the Docker image scanned completed, okay, once again let it complete. Okay, the tagging, that Docker image will be tagged. It is completed tagging the Docker image, and it is logging into Docker Hub. It is logged into Docker Hub and pushing the image to Docker Hub. You can see that. Now go to your Docker Hub and just refresh your screen. Right now you should be able to find v3.0 version of the image. Right, let me again. Yeah, you can see that v3.0 version of the tag has come. v3.0, you can see that v3.0. Now once that v3.0 image is been pushed to the Docker Hub, it will perform the cleanup activities. That means, what is the cleanup activity? It should remove the image from the Jenkins machine. Now unnecessarily it will cause the storage problem, right? So it will bring that Jenkins, like Docker from the Jenkins actually. Now this, click on trigger downstream project. You can see that click on proceed, okay, or abort. Okay, you want to deploy that to the Kubernetes cluster or not? If you want to deploy, click on proceed. If you do not want to deploy, click on abort. That's it. Okay, just click on proceed. Okay, this is only the manual step that you are going to do here, but not here. Just I have put this in order to show you, but you can see that triggering deployment job, triggering downstream job. I have shown you how to trigger a downstream job, right? Previously individually, see all these things individually I have shown first. Okay, now I have mixed it together and creating a pipeline now as a project. Okay, now let me go here. Now this will trigger this Kubernetes hyphen deployment job. Okay, this triggered the Kubernetes hyphen deployment job, and this got completed. You can see that just now it got triggered 8:23 a.m. You can see that April 29, 8:23 a.m. that got triggered just now, right? Now this will update the image tag here. Previously it is 1.9, right? Previously it is 1.9. Just refresh your GitHub repository. Just refresh your GitHub repository. You can see that it is 3.0 now. It just now the Jenkins pipeline updated this. Okay, this update, this change in the GitHub repository will be automatically detected by the Argo CD. Now I have created an Argo CD, like once again, let me go here. Okay, one second. One second. I have created a Kubernetes Argo CD. Actually, I have created Kubernetes cluster, and I have deployed Argo CD in that cluster, and I have uh, attached that Argo CD to the our. Uh, One second. What happened to this? Unnecessary problems. One second. 8081. I am port forward into. You can see that this is a data store that is running from past 24 minutes, and let me try to port forward this one. You can see that this port forward got started. Localhost 8081 is the port number. 8081. Okay, let me open that. Sorry for that, it is my network problem. Once again, kubectl get secrets. You know, right, how to fetch the secret. -n argo cd, right? Argo cd, right? So yeah. Hello. Hello. Can you people able to hear me? Yes, I'm fine. I'm really
Yes, you are now
sorry.
able to.
1 second.
No worries.
Let me call them and ask them to reshare the screen. 1 second. Hello. Can you start my screen share, please? I have come out of the meeting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sure. Thank you. Yeah, I hope my screen is okay now. And you can see that the 3.0 image has been built and that got updated. V 3.0 got updated in the GitHub repository, right? We GitHub repository. And if you see here, localhost 8081 won't work now. Okay. Okay, this is the initial admin secret that we have. Okay, kubectl edit. 1 second, no need of editing this. 1 second, let me try to log in without editing. Okay, let me go here to the 8080. Will that be port forwarding? Yes, 8080 is being port forwarded to the Argo CD. We have seen already this one, how to port forward this to the Argo CD. This went to the Argo CD, and you can see that this application was here actually, and this is a replica sets. You can see that what is the application version that is being running. You can see that v 3.0 has been deployed. You can see that v 3.0. If you see here image, let me go there into the Kubernetes cluster and show you. Let me go here to the Kubernetes cluster and kubectl get pods. Okay, you can see that these are the pods. Now describe this pod. Okay, each pod, one pod actually, kubectl describe pod and the pod name. Okay, you can see that this pod is running with a v 3.0 version. Previously it is v 1.9 version. Okay, let me deploy another application. Suppose not another application, same application, but another build actually, because we have miss, if we are miss something, let me build with parameters. Now if you see the Kubernetes cluster, it is pods are running with v 3.0 version. Okay, now let me go here. Let me put v 3.1 version of the application. Actually application version is v 3.1. Let me click on build. Okay, let me click on build. Okay, let it complete. I do not let it complete. I just sit back and relax. Okay, that's it. Okay, just it will do all the things. It will do all the things automatically, and it will automatically deploy the application v 3.0 version 3.1 version of the application to the Kubernetes cluster. In that way we have automated everything. Okay, the developer just push its code to the GitHub repository and trigger a pipeline with v 3 point, like with version which he used to do actually, and then everything, the pipeline will be triggered automatically without we interacting manually with that. You can see that now it is docker building docker image stage. I've explained previously, but yeah, now I think it's okay now, right? Yeah, now building docker image. image scan, all these things. Okay, 1 second, let it complete. Now before this completion, let me tell you two things actually. I have how I am running this SonarQube and JFrog. I am running this SonarQube and JFrog as part of the Docker containers. Okay, I am running the SonarQube and JFrog as Docker containers. Let me again, let me close these two things and let me click on login. Close all these things. If you see, this is the SonarQube repository. Okay, I have this here, sign in. You can see that these are the Kubernetes node. This is the one, this is the one, and other, this is the one Kubernetes node, and these three are, this is a Jenkins node. Okay, this is a SonarQube node, and this is the JFrog node. I am running SonarQube and JFrog as a Docker containers. Okay, I am running SonarQube and JFrog as a Docker containers. Okay, now once you have executed as a Docker containers inside these machines, okay, inside these machines, okay, you need to port forward in order to access from the external browser, right? You need to use -p, right? What I have used, which command I have used to port forward that one, just let me show you the command. Okay, now let me go here. This is a SonarQube command I have used, -p 909 9000 and 9000. This is a port forward command I have used in order to port forward this. Now I am accessing that SonarQube application as part of this one, actually as part of this one. Okay, now this is a 3 110 and 7 759. You can see that 9000 and projects. You can see that these are the projects that we have. This data store project we have integrated to this SonarQube. And let me go to this pipeline, and let me click on this proceed. Until you click on the proceed, it is not going to deploy the application, new version of the application to the Kubernetes cluster. Just click on this proceed and let it deploy, let it complete. Let's go to the SonarQube now. How to integrate this SonarQube with your Jenkins pipeline? How to integrate that one? You need to install a plugin. How to install a plugin? You need to go here, click on this dashboard. You need to click on this dashboard, go to manage Jenkins, click on plugins. Okay, you have something called plugins here. You need to install some plugin called Sonar Scanner. SonarQube Scanner, something like that. I have already installed. It will be there in the installed plugins. Okay, Sonar, SONAR. You can see that SonarQube Scanner for Jenkins. This is a plugin that you need to install. Okay, this is a plugin that you need to install. Okay, this SonarQube Scanner plugin will help us to connect with the pipeline, our Jenkins pipeline with the SonarQube. How to connect the Jenkins pipeline with the SonarQube? Go once you logged into the SonarQube, it will ask for the login username and password. Just you give default username for the SonarQube, and password, like default password is admin. Okay, once you log in to that SonarQube, you will be having this empty thing. This project will not be there. Okay, the empty things will be there. Now once you log in, you need to click on administration. Once you clicked on this administration, you need to click on security, click on users, and you should create a user here. You should create a user. Let me create a user called test. Name is test. Here the test. Okay, test@gmail.com is the test, and the password let me give as test, and click on create. Here the user called test got created. Now here you need to click on tokens. Okay, update tokens or create tokens. You need to give some token. You need to generate some token. Test I am You need to click on, once give a name, give an expiry date for this, and click on generate token. You will be getting this token. Just copy this token, and you need to configure this token as part of the credentials. You know, right, how to configure the credentials, right? Previously we have configured the Docker Hub credentials. Click on these credentials. You need to configure SonarQube credentials. You need to SonarQube credentials, click on global here, and you need to click on add credentials. This is the secret text, right? This is the only, it is not a username and password, this is a token. Okay, that means this is secret text, and you need to give a secret copy token here in this place. Give the some ID here, SonarQube token or something like this, which is a meaningful name, and give some description and click on create. Once you do that, the credential will be created something like this. How it will be creating, here we have, right, SonarQube credential, something like that. Is I have given ID called SonarQube. I have given ID called SonarQube, right? Now once you do this, what you need to do, go to the manage Jenkins, go to the system, go to the configure system. If you go to the configure system, you will be finding something called, okay, SonarQube servers. Here you will be having something called add SonarQube. In this case, my SonarQube I have already added, but in your case, the SonarQube will not be added. Now click on that add SonarQube. You will be getting something called this one. Okay, name you give, just some name you give. This is a endpoint URL, server URL, where your SonarQube is running. Where my SonarQube is running, on which port, this is the URL. I need to give, copy this URL and give this as part of this URL, server URL, something like this. The slash should not be there at the end actually. Now authentication token, we have copied the token to the GitHub, like Jenkins credentials, right? Just you just click on this. Now you will be finding that SonarQube credentials. Click on this SonarQube credentials. Then that's it. Okay, give some name, test actually. Now that's a just click on apply, click on save. That means you have added your SonarQube to the Jenkins machine. You can see that I have added in the same way Sonar, and the server URL and SonarQube credentials I have given, and clicked on apply and clicked on save here actually. Then I have added my SonarQube to my Jenkins pipeline. Once the SonarQube has added, go to your Jenkins pipeline. You should give that stage, right? You need to give that stage, right? How to do that stage? Okay, now go to that stage. Where is that? Yeah, this is a static code analysis stage. You can see that. Okay, SonarQube credential ID. What is a SonarQube credential ID, which we have configured in the credentials? SonarQube, right? SonarQube is a SonarQube credential ID. If you see this here, okay, go to the manage Jenkins. Okay, go to the credentials. What is the credential ID? SonarQube is a credential ID. You need to give that SonarQube credential ID. Okay, SonarQube credential ID as part of this. Okay, now I am, this is a just, it's a def. Okay, that means it's one of the string that we call it. In Groovy scripts, def represents, it automatically takes a data type which is assigned to this actually. If you are assigning number here, it will be automatically considering the number for this is a variable, for this variable. Okay, so this something like that, and I am calling this method static code analysis of SonarQube credential ID. I am passing the SonarQube credential ID which is assigned to this method. Where this method is there, this method is there below static code analysis. Okay, now credential ID is this, okay, which is passed from there actually, and with SonarQube n. Now how you are getting this method? This method, when you install a plugin, it will automatically giving to us. If you go to the plugin documentation, you'll be finding this. Okay, this method, you need to pass the credential ID. That's it. It will be considering this credential ID, and you need to execute some shells command, mvn sonar: that means it will be integrating our project with the SonarQube. Okay, once you integrated our project with the SonarQube, go to your SonarQube, and let me close this, and let me remove this. For your example, I have shown deactivate. Okay, I have deactivated. Now once you integrated with the SonarQube, just click on the projects. Once you clicked on the project, you will be finding data store project which you have integrated. Now click on this data store project. Now this is everything, is quality gate has been paused. These are all the SonarQube things, like quality gates, quality profiles, and all these things actually. Now if you go on issues, click on issues, it will show the detailed information. What is the issue? Remove this command out of code. What is this? Okay, you can see that I have commented out this code in my pom.xml. You can see that this is the commented out code. If you see this, if you go to my pom.xml, you can see that that I have commented. Now SonarQube is saying to me to remove that code, you should not put the commented code actually in this. Okay, like that it will tell you many issues. Replace at the request method is equal to post mapping with post something like that, it is showing actually, right, what is post mapping, what is request mapping, something like that. Okay, now make this method as non-private. I have made this method private. It is saying for me to create the method as non-private. Like this, it will analyze our project. It will static code, it's a code analysis tool. It will analyze our project. It will give some suggestions to modify this, to modify this, to modify this, something like that. As of now, these are the problems that my like my application has, and I need to solve this problem. SonarQube shows that for us. Okay, SonarQube shows that for us. And before moving further, we have triggered a Jenkins pipeline with v3.1, right? Just now we have triggered a Jenkins pipeline with v3.1, right? And it has been deployed. Let us see in the let us see in this here actually. If you see applications and it is healthy and synced, click on this. And if you check the Kubernetes in the Kubernetes cluster, okay, go to your Kubernetes. As of previously, which version is running? v3.0. You can see that v3.0. If you check now, kubectl get pods, you can see that. Okay, one second, they are getting. Yeah, you can see that this is the get pods command, and copy this data store one of the pod, and you can check that kubectl describe pod and the pod name, right? Okay, yeah, you can see it here which version of the application is running. v3.1. What I did, just triggered a Jenkins pipeline, that's it. Everything is automated until the deployment of that application to the Kubernetes cluster. We did not do anything manually. All these days, all the things we have did manually, but all the things were being automated with the Jenkins pipeline, Okay, that's the thing. Now, this is how we automate. And let me tell you the JFrog. I have told you SonarQube. That is how you need to integrate with the SonarQube and JFrog. This JFrog, I am also running this JFrog as a Docker container in this another machine. You can see that this is a JFrog machine. I am running this JFrog as a Docker container in this machine actually. Now, how to run a docker run command, right? That's it. That's a command you need to use to run it as Docker container. Now you need to open the JFrog in this port number 8082 actually. If you search for this server URL and the 8082, the JFrog will be opened. Right now, click on once the you have opened this. The default username of the JFrog is admin, and the default password of the JFrog is password. Okay, now what you need to do, I have already changed my password. My username is admin, my password is different. Okay, let me enter that password. Okay, one second. Okay, let me click on login to the JFrog. Now I have logged into the JFrog repository. Once you logged into the JFrog repository, you will be finding these two symbols here, this one, and click on repositories. Click on this repository. You need to add a repository. Click on this add repository. Click on this local repository. After adding, you need to add the Maven repository. You need to give some name test here and give some repository key test here, and click on create local repository. A local repository with the name test will be created. Like that, I have created a repository with the name data store. Repository with the name data store, because that is my data store application, right? Now once you created a repository, okay, click on this icon left side, and you will be finding the artifacts section. Click on this one second. Click on this artifact section. Click on this artifacts. You will be finding the test repository, like that data store repository which is shown here. Like the test repository will be shown here, which I have created in this icon. Okay, I have created a repository called test, right? In this repository I have created just now, right? In the same way, I have created the data store that will be reflected as part of this artifacts. Now once that is reflected here, what you need to do, if you see this test repository, you will be finding a URL to a file. You can see that this is a repository URL. Okay, this is a URL that you will be finding. Copy this URL. copy this URL and go to your Jenkins pipeline. Go to your Jenkins pipeline. You need to write another stage for the JFrog repository. You can see that where is the JFrog registry. Yeah, this is a JFrog repository I have written here, and you need to copy, like echo, like just log statements I am writing here, pushing artifacts to the JFrog. Now, what is the username and password you have entered to log in? That username and password you need to configure as credentials in the Jenkins pipeline. How to configure credentials? Just now I have shown you. Go to the credentials in the Jenkins console, go to the dashboard, click on manage Jenkins, click on credentials, and go to the global, click on this global, and click on add credential. And this is a username and password credential. It's not a secret text, right? It's a username and password. Give your username here, give your password here, give the ID here, and click on give the description and click on create. Like that I have created a, so like this is the one. Okay, where is that? Yeah, JFrog credentials. I the ID JFrog. You can see that how to access these credentials in our Jenkins pipeline using credentials method. You can see that credentials method that Jenkins provides to us. JFrog is the ID that you have configured here. Okay, this is the ID that you need to configure here. Actually, that will be stored as part of this variable. Actually, JFrog underscore credentials. Now you need to use these credentials. You need to use these credentials in order to log in. In order to log in, where is that? Uh, you need to use these credentials in order to log into the JFrog. How I have used here, this is a curl command I have used. Curl hyphen x put is the method. What is the username? The username is admin. How to fetch the username from the credentials I have shown you in the docker thing. How to fetch the docker username. Here we have fetched, right? In the last class we have seen how to fetch this username. Okay, credential. In the previous class also we have seen, not only last classes. That's the thing. Okay, now colon, this is a URL. How this URL looks like this: colon JFrog credential password. Actually, PSW. This will username. This is a password. Like this you need to give. Now hyphen T. What is the target? What is jar file that will be located in this position inside the Jenkins pipeline, right? Dot slash, where the jar file will be created inside the target folder, data store hyphen star dot jar. In this location the jar file will be created. Now the copied URL from here JFrog, you copied a particular URL here once you created artifactory, right? Once you created artifactory. Now this URL you need to paste as part of this. You need to paste as part of this. That's it. That means your stage is connected to the JFrog repository. Now after building a pipeline, your jar file will be seen as part of this. You can see that data store hyphen 0.0.5 dot jar. You can see that here. Okay, you can also download this jar file from here. Okay, you can see that URL to a file. You can also download this jar file from here, which is pushed to the this JFrog repository. This is how the automation is done. This is how the automation is done. Like everything from the starting stage, we have integrated with JFrog. We have integrated with Docker Hub. We have integrated with SonarQube. We have integrated with this one, like this one. What is this? Argo CD, and everything will be deployed. Just here, everything will be developed by the DevOps people, and developers just push their code to the GitHub repository. That's it. Everything will be automated until the deployment of the application to the Kubernetes cluster that we did today as part of the Jenkins project. Actually, you can see the dashboard and everything. These are the different pipeline stages, and this is the dashboard. Kubernetes deployment. This will perform the YAML file updates in the GitHub repository. That's the thing. Okay, any questions that you have, please? If you want me to continue tomorrow also, I'm going to continue. Okay, if you want me, and yeah, that's your choice. Just tell me any questions that you have. Is that clear, or shall I explain tomorrow also same project? Because we have faced some problems today. Or is that clear?
It's clear, Shiva. Only thing we need to practice it.
Yeah. What about others? See, if it is clear only, please tell me clear. Okay, if it is not clear, please help me with the information. I will be able to know it. If it is not clear, I will be uh, explaining one more time. I have no problem actually explaining one more time. Okay.
It's clear, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, now how to take the backups? It's very easy actually. Go to your machine. Okay, go to your Jenkins machine. Okay, now go to, one second, let me click on close this one, let me click on this one. Go to your Jenkins machine, and it's for the, if you who knows this, AWS will be able to know. Copy this volume, click on this volume, click on the snapshot, click on checkbox, click on this checkbox, and click on actions, click on create a snapshot. That's it. Okay, give the snapshot description. If you want to give, you can give it. That's entirely optional, I think. Let me give some test. Okay, click on create a snapshot. Okay, like this, you once the snapshot is created, you can see that, where is that, once the snapshot is created for that uh, particular volume, okay, you will be finding a snapshot section here. You can see that the snapshot got created. It's in pending state. It is soon going to be creating state. Actually, you can see that, it's a pending state. It is creating, just creating state now, just now. Okay, just create a snapshots. Okay, in the Jenkins, we use it to create a snapshot. Some people who are not using the AWS, who are using the bare metal servers in order to deploy the Jenkins pipeline, they will be using cron jobs in order to back up the Jenkins storage. But as of now, today, in nowadays, no one using bare metal, everyone are using cloud. They are simply taking the snapshots of the storage volume that is attached to the Jenkins, and they will be restoring the snapshot you again back with the new machine, which, if any problem appears in the Jenkins machine, act actually. So that's how they are going to do. And now, in this course, what we have discussed, okay, shall we continue tomorrow, or shall we end this course today? What do people say? I need to overall, I need to give some introduction means a summary about whatever the things that we have seen in this course, and what you say actually. I have no problem with any option.
We'll continue, Shiva.
We'll continue. Okay, okay. Now, okay, let me overall the things, let me tell you. Actually, we have started with Docker actually, and we went to different concepts of Docker. We have first, we have not started with Docker. Sorry, we did not start with Docker. We have started with the, what is machine, what is the DevOps, what's a machine, and what are physical machines, what are virtual machines, how the virtual machines are uh, designed actually, how the Docker is evolved, and the Docker architecture. And we have seen the Docker commands use cases, and the Docker compose files, Docker volumes we have seen, and how to create a custom Docker images from the Docker files. So we have seen different instructions, and we have seen the Docker networking. Once the Docker networking got completed, we have did the project of the Docker. And once we have completed the project, and we made sure that everything is proper with the Docker, and then we went to the Kubernetes. We have created a three ways of creating Kubernetes cluster. One is Kubedium, and second one is Minikube, and third one is EKS cluster way. And we have seen the different workloads. We have seen the daemon sets, deployment, pods, init containers, containers. It's a Docker concept, but yeah, init containers. Okay, what else we have seen? Jobs, cron jobs. Okay, all these things we have seen. Replica sets also. Okay, that's the thing we have seen. And in the deployment, we have seen the multiple deployment strategies, rolling update, rollback, blue green type of deployment, canary deployment. Okay, now all these things. Okay, in case of next thing, we have went through the services. We have seen the cluster IP, node port type of service, load balancer type of service, multi-port services. And we have also seen the external name, external IP type of service. Okay, in this, these are the different things, services we have seen. And in case of configuration, we have also did all these things. We did not look in a theory manner. Okay, we went to the console, we made have hands dirty, and we have make ourselves perfect with the labs actually. So now that's a services. In case of configuration, what we did, we have seen the secrets config maps, we have seen the what is that image pull policy, okay, what is that again, resource requests and limits, okay, and how to configure that what is that liveness probe, readiness probe, and starter probes, resource quota, resource requests and limits, and limit ranges, okay, all these things we have seen. How to pull the images from the private docker registry, okay, all these things, okay, if I'm missing anything, sorry for that, but we have seen all these things actually. But in case of storage, we have seen the dynamic volume provisioning, static volume provisioning, how to store the data at the host path, empty dir, okay, all these things we have seen actually. What will happen if we store the data at the container level, what will happen if we store the data at the pod level, what will happen if we store the data at the host level. And that is why we need to go for the dynamic volume provisioning, that means storing the data externally. In case of EBS volumes, we have seen all these things. After doing all these things, we have seen a project on combination of all these concepts which I have mentioned until now in the Kubernetes. Okay, we have seen the project in the project. What we have seen in the project, we have included dynamic volume provisioning, deployments, replica sets, pods, okay, services, and namespaces. We have included, we have deployed the two different applications in two different namespaces. One is data store application, not data store, student store application. Other one is the MongoDB application in two different namespaces. And we have port forwarded to the service, and we have accessed that application of the service using the postman tool from our local machine, and we have sent the request to the application, and the data is stored as part of the MongoDB application in the Kubernetes cluster. Okay, now after that, we have also taken the backups using cron jobs and jobs, and data is stored on part of the host machine actually, that means Kubernetes nodes. And then we went to the scheduling part. What in the scheduling part, we have seen, affinity, node affinity, pod anti affinity, taints and tolerations. In the taints and tolerations, we have seen different taint effects actually. No schedule, prefer no schedule, okay, no execute taint effect. Node name, we have seen how to schedule nodes. Now scheduling the applications using node selector, okay, selector related information, labels and selector, I mean. Okay, after completing the scheduling, what we have seen, after completing the scheduling, we have seen the security part, we have seen role based access control, we have seen service accounts, okay, how why the service accounts are required, to where we need to use service account, where we need to use role based access control. In case of EKS clusters, we have seen. And we have also configured our Kubernetes dashboard, we have deployed the Kubernetes dashboard within the Kubernetes cluster, and we configured with the service account, that one. And we are and we also seen the next part is a networking. As part of the networking, we have seen path based routing, host based routing, and we also seen how to load balancer will be creating. And we have seen uh, the host based routing, like whenever we put some host machine, like whenever we put that URL in the browser, the traffic will be routed to that application, particular application. We have seen something like that, all these things. Okay, next thing what we have seen is helm charts. As part of the helm charts, we have seen different functions, loops, okay, conditions, okay, how to, helm directory structure, okay, now template, how to templatize that helm chart, how to deploy the helm chart, different commands, okay, all these things we have seen. How to delete, how to you know what we have seen, right? So just it's a summary. Okay, now after that, we have also seen the KNS dashboard. I did not forget, I forgot that KNS dashboard we have seen. And after that, we have seen the project of Argo CD, how to do the automatic deployment in the Kubernetes cluster. And that is the end of Kubernetes we did. In case of Jenkins, what we have seen is Jenkins. In the Jenkins, we went to the Jenkins, we have went to the introduction, we have created a freestyle project, we have created a pipeline project. We have configured the parameters, we have configured the credentials, we have configured the plugins, we have what we have did, we have created a pipeline scripts. Okay, how to write a pipeline. Okay, now how to generate a pipeline using pipeline syntax. Actually, I have shown you how to generate a pipeline actually. Now after that pipeline script, we have integrated with SonarQube, we have integrated with JFrog, we have integrated with pipeline with the Maven, we have integrated with Docker Hub, we have integrated with uh, GitHub repository to update that, to update the what is that uh, what is that file, YAML file in the today we have done, right? So that's a GitHub repository. All these things we have integrated. We have seen the out taking a snapshots, okay, taking the snapshots as a backup from the Jenkins machine, like creating a snapshot like this. Okay, now after you can see that completed status, right? So creating this snapshot is really used if any problem appears with the existing Jenkins machine. That snapshot it is used to restore the to restore that uh, to restore that thing, actually, something like that. We have did entire project. This is the project we have done as part of the Jenkins. Okay, GitHub Jenkins Maven test cases SonarQube. We have integrated SonarQube, JFrog, Docker image, Tree, Sonar, Docker Hub, cleanup activities, GitHub, Argo, CD, Kubernetes, and we have achieved our goal, something like this. And that's the thing, actually. Okay, that's the entire things we have seen, and I want to hear from you. Is that okay, or what do you what are your views on the course, and any improvements need to be done, or how you will
Can you please upload this project also,
say
Shiva, so that to repo? I mean, recording.
uploaded? No. Any people able to hear me? Hello.
Yes, 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 just
Yeah, yeah. Can you how did you feel? Any improvements need to be done to the course, and did you learn anything new in the course, or everything you know previously? Just some comments, please.
We understood all these concepts we don't know previously, like
Mm-hmm.
Jenkins, Docker. We understand all these things. It's
Okay.
good content. We'll feel happy for joining this course.
Yeah, yeah.
Only thing is when we start practicing, we may get doubt. Please support us in the Telegram. That's it.
Definitely, definitely. See, I'm going to conduct a free online one project is a EFK stack for everything from for my previous batches, and this batch and the next batch and the weekend batch, everything, all the batches combined together. I'm going to conduct a project, one project, like it's like a free thing, and I'll be intimating you in the Telegram group. Definitely, I'll be supporting if you have any problems, if you have any issues in the Telegram. I will be there in the Telegram group, and that's the thing. And yeah, what I mean to say is that's the thing. And new batch is being going to be started from the next Monday, that is 6th of May. Okay, it's a same Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes. That's the thing. And if you people are finding any difficulties in understand the topics, we will be, if you want me to connect tomorrow as well, please give me some information here or in the Telegram group, so that we will be joining tomorrow as well. No problem for me, because yeah, it's entirely the satisfaction should be there from yourself, from your side. And that's the thing, actually. if you want me end today, that's we will be ending today, or if you want me to continue tomorrow, we'll be continuing tomorrow. And that's the thing actually. So all these things, and this will be helpful for you in the interviews if you are achieve if you want to achieve the cracking of the interview, something like that. And that's the thing. And these are the different things I want to say actually. Yeah, that's the thing. Okay. uh thanks for joining session, and thanks for taking the course. And it's a great time meeting you all people. And yeah, that's what I meant to say. And yeah, have a good day, and have a good career, guy. Bye. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
thank you. Bye.